Hello and welcome to the Quiver channel. I am Jason, your host. I hope you're all having a wonderful, splendiferous day. Now, I want to address a few things. My messages are never political, and I try to keep bias to the minimum, as much as a human being can. I don't put my opinions out there without research. I do research that would leave a fucking NSA analyst to shame. If I find out something or I want to know about a subject, I will spend 4 months, 5 months, 6 months deep diving into every possible data source. And I will check and recheck the histories and what's behind it. Like, for example, when I talk about Gaza and Israel, I go all the way back to the 1900s and follow the timeline and see how everything happened. I investigate the tactics of terrorist organizations like Hamas. I go deep into it, and that's every subject. I'm not a politician. I'm not a diplomat. I'm blunt as fuck. I always will be. But my opinions are usually based on factual data. Data doesn't care whether it upsets you. Data doesn't care whether or not it's going to insult you or make you hurt your feelings. Data is data. And one of the things with certain types of autism is we don't hold back. We can't mollify or anything. We have to say it is truth. For example, I first saw the truth about females of a certain type when I was in college, and that is 37 years ago. And they were beautiful, wonderful women that I met at school, but I always found them lacking in depth. First thing they would ask me is, have you got a car? And this is where my mind started to perceive the transactional nature of relationships. This is why I stayed single and a virgin till I was 26. It wasn't that I didn't have offers, it's just I had no interest in what was being offered. It was just Paola was the first girl I ever met that had true depth, other than my own mother. My father died when I was 12, and I was brought up in a household with a mother and a sister. What's up, doggy? Would you like another sweetie? Yeah, come on. Sit down. Sit. Good boy. There we are. So, when I started to see this change in the modern dating and everything and relationships, because when Paola died at 2018, I wasn't really interested in anything for about a year, and then I got together with my online girlfriend, and I went on from there. And I started to see the difference of the way, not all, but a lot of females act, and the way they build each other up, and I've got no problem with realistic feminism, with women getting equal rights for equal pay for equal amount of work. And that's the key, equal amount of work. I think stuff like the latest sports stuff, the female soccer league and all that is fucking brilliant. But they have to temper their wages and concern because the amount of people that watch has been built up for the male generation for fucking 30, 40 years or more, and has slowly built up to the point where sponsors and that will pay millions, and even fucking in some countries above that. And so it isn't a, oh, we're starting this, we need to get everything the same as them. It just cannot work that way. It's got to be built up over time. Worth has to be proven to sponsors. They have to see payback for their investment. They have to see a return. Unfortunately, it is a transactional situation when it comes to that kind of thing. Both male and female athletes will know that if your particular sport isn't in the limelight and you don't get the big money, and it's unfair, but it's just the way of the world. Sponsorship is not easy to get, and it works the same way in a lot of things. A lot of women are happy to be a homemaker. They haven't been forced into that. They just enjoy it. It's who they are. A lot of women want to go a different way, and there should be no stopping them if they do. There is a lot of support now to try and redress the balance, and that's a good thing. See, I researched all this while I was going through all of the bits and pieces, and what I noticed was there's a lot of disparities. Like, now it's being redressed, but for many, many years, only a woman could take leave when they're having a child. But as any couple who have had a child, it affects fucking both of you. You both get bad nights, and unless the husband completely isolates himself from the situation, he's going to have to change diapers. He's going to have to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Paternity leave should be for both parents. Doesn't matter your gender. If you're in a relationship and you have a child, from what I've been told, it wrecks everything. It changes everything, and it affects both parties. See, that's a disparity the other way. I believe that women should have exactly the same chance to, and qualifications and participation in the army and the navy and the air force, especially the air force, because physical potential doesn't actually, but it shouldn't be based on gender. A person shouldn't, just like all this inclusivity of, oh, we've got to have so many black people working at our company, we've got to have so many disabled people working at our company. No, it shouldn't be based on fucking that. It should be based on competence and skill level, not gender. Any woman who is better than thingy should fucking well, yes, should never have a glass ceiling or anything stopping her. But women who don't should not be given a leg up just because they're women. They should have to get, although that is the true kind of equality that has to be in the world for it to work. Otherwise, you're just swinging from one side to the other, one time to the other. And this is one of the problems with the hardcore people involved with I call it radical feminism. These people are not self-aware in any way, shape or form. They boost each other up so much, and they believe that guys don't have feelings, the same as them, that guys' thoughts don't matter, and that so much wrong has been done in the past by men, that all men are bad. All men are bad. all men will cheat. All men will try to take control of the relationship. From my experience, most men, except for those who are immature or idiots, and unfortunately that does count for quite a few men, we just want peaceful life. Look, yeah, I would have been extremely happy if my wife took over all the finances and did all that stuff and just let me play on my computer. I would have been happy to have no decision making in any of the stuff that I had to do. I would have been awesome. My wife was an exceptional woman. And I say that not as a derogatory term, as in all women should be exceptional. I mean by just the facts of what she was capable of doing. I mean, at 21, she was told she had cancer that was going to kill her. And instead of falling apart, she said, okay, what now? How do we start fighting this? She had just been told that she was going to die, that her life was going to fucking end. And instead of falling apart, she was the one who said, okay, what now? And as the damage started being done to her body, as her ability to do things started to fail, she didn't give up any. She fought tooth and fucking nail to keep all her crafting ability, all the creative side. She just had to slowly adapt to her limitations. Like she stopped doing the big artworks and paintings and that, and started doing little postcard artworks. And one of the reasons for that was because she could only paint for 15 minutes at a time before her hands started to cramp up. And if they started cramping up because of the damage that was being done to the tendons and the joints and everything by the medications to keep her alive, she would have 2 or 3 days of not being able to do anything. So she had to measure these things. She was so much fucking better at certain games from her. I mean, it's like games. We both loved Skyrim. We both played Skyrim. And while I did the atypical rush through, fight all the big fights, going to the end game, by the time I had done that, she had completed every fucking side quest. She had bought every house in every single town. She had kitted them all out. She had every single cupboard, every drawer in every house organised. She had collected nearly everything in the realm. She was a master enchanter and blacksmith and everything. And no, she wasn't using any exploits or anything to do any of this. She had just basically just put the work in with her character. So by the time she went out for fucking doing battle, she was wearing diedric armor by the time she went and saw the fucking greybeards. And here's me. One house, which I went into the front door, throw everything in the first cupboard, go back out, and that was me. And when we played Counter-Strike, she was a fucking so much better shot than me. Even with she used a trackball, because these trackballs here, where are my trackballs? Oh, they're here. I've got 2 of them actually. These ones, people find them strange, but they are actually wonderful. And if you've got arthritis or anything, having to just move one little thumb to moving and everything else is in. My Paola found these to be very good. I've got 2 because one of these controls my security system, this one, and this one controls the media PC connected to the PC computer there, and I love it. And so she would use that, and she was hated. She's one of the reasons that camping got a bad name back in the days of Unreal Tournament, and then the original Counter-Strike when it was a mod for Half-Life, not when it was a separate thing. And she loved the AWD sniper rifle, and she was nasty with it. She would She knew every single map. She knew exactly where to position herself and to camp. And she would fucking get headshots. I mean, the amount of time she killed me and I never saw it coming, even though she was just, and she would fucking laugh, this manic laugh, when she killed people. And nobody, because back then people didn't go on voice chat as much as that. And we had both experienced what it's like for a female in the early days being online and that. And so she always kept herself quiet and just went out and fucking like a ninja just murdered people. So I have never had any problem. If someone's good at something, gender never doesn't come into it with me. If someone's an asshole, gender doesn't come into it. If someone's a manipulative son of a bitch, it doesn't matter whether they're male or female. It's going to be what I think of them and what I will say about them. You can be strong without being vindictive. You can be nice without being vulnerable. You can live a life and have a relationship without seeing your partner. I've always found it fucking weird. It's one of the things that my brain does not compute. Why would you date? Why would you go out with someone who wasn't your best friend? Why would you form a life with someone that you don't want to spend all your time with? Doesn't mean you have to spend all your time, but why would you commit to all of this if... Why? I've never understood that. I think most girls at college thought I was quite cold, but no, I was analytical. When someone asked me out, I thought of the future. I thought of, can I be myself with this person? Can I talk to them? Or are they just going off what I look like on the outside? The first girl that asked me out when I was 15. And this was the first serious, because everything else I just shot down and made sure I was unavailable, really. Autism, it's when we don't do subtle. If you want to date an autistic person, you've basically got to put yourself in their face and tell them. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And this person, I had a friend who was female, who was a friend of my friend. No, it was a friend of a sister. Complicated. But you're just kids hanging out at that age. And first of all, my male friend said to me, my sister's friend likes you. And I'm like, okay. I just thought, oh, they like me. I didn't connect the dots to liking as in likes you. No, it was okay. And then he mentioned it about 3 or 4 times more. Obviously being coached by his sister. And then his sister came to me and said, my friend likes you. And by this time I'm going, yep, that's okay, nice. And then she said, she wants to go out with you. And I'm like, she should ask me herself. This wasn't me being nasty. This was me just seeing a situation and a solution. Ask me herself. My brain didn't understand why this person wasn't asking me themselves. So this person did ask me. And this was my first experience of someone who just saw me from a distance and for some reason liked me. Because remember, this was about the time that I was a biker, and all the girls had this romantic fucking idea what a biker was. I became a sex symbol for the school, and this was odd to me. It wasn't. It wasn't. You see the guys at school, the ones that dress perfectly, and that. No, I'm not that. I became a sex symbol for the girls at school because I had got into motorbikes, scramblers for using the fields I used to build and repair them and take them out at the weekends. And of course, being as my next door neighbour was a biker, when he saw I was interested in bikes, what did he get me? He got me a really nice leather jacket, really cool leather jacket, because I miss my leather jacket. I do still miss my leather jacket. And this leather jacket was gorgeous. Had lots of patches on, because my next door neighbour was retired. We had been in a biker gang, and then I used to go on biking, touring and stuff like that. He was a great informational person for when it came to looking after motorbikes back then. Well, I didn't equate to a guy who is riding a motorbike in leathers at 15, 16 to looking cute and girls wanting to go with me. This was odd to me. This was strange, an unusual thing. And it all happened because of a random accidental meeting. Two of the girls who were the main part of the main female clique, the girls that all hang around together, the thingy, they were beautiful. They were not. I wasn't in any way interested in them, but they thingy. And normally, me, no one gave me a second look. Nobody thingy. I don't like that. I like not having people interested in me, not being the centre of attention. And one day, I was pushing my motorbike up towards the field, across streets, and they just came down the street on chatting about something, and they saw me in the distance, and they stopped. And it was that atypical moment of both of them just had their jaws dropped. They stopped talking. I'd never heard these women stop talking. They were always fucking talking. It bothered me that they couldn't be in any situation, in any classroom, in any corridor without inane chatter. And it bothered me. Didn't like that. I thought if you talk, something important should come out. It should have reason behind it. And so they just looked at me and in very, very, very tiny voices, they said my name and said, "Hello." And I thought nothing of it. I just said, "Hello, yeah, I'm just going up to the fields on my bike." And this information got around fucking school so fast. I started getting attention from people that I had no interest in. I'm factual. I'm data driven. I'm decisions based on those facts. And if I find out something, I have to. It has to come out. It's Hello there, Zakykins. Yes, you're a good dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. Doggy gets a love. You see, the thing is, I don't think like most people. I don't do anything for status or for class or anything like that. When I first met my friends, the current friends that know me pretty damn well now, they thought I was boasting because I'd just say things that I had done. And like when I mentioned that I coded and ran a game and all these kind of things. At first they thought it was just the normal bullshit that people come out, but then I'd show them the game. I explained to them that when Paola was alive, we'd been involved in the BDSM community where before she got ill, and we'd been pretty well known in certain circles because I was an expert with a whip and an expert at shibari, Japanese type rope work. I've always been concerned about where did it come from? Did Japan originally, or China? I never really learned which area of Asia it came from, the original. Maybe I'll look up after this. But I was very good, and I used to tie up stunningly beautiful women and whip stunningly beautiful women. But it wasn't sexual. It was just thinking. It was a autistic special interest that I deep dived into, and I became very good at. I still have somewhere close by one of the old. I've got two of my custom-made whips and items that I still have. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff was lost when I moved house. But to me, that was nothing. Now my friends know that if they want to know anything about that subject matter, I'm a good one to actually ask about it. But autistic people don't boast. We see patterns. We talk about things. I'm in my 50s. Of course I'm going to have a life that was quite interesting. But to me, it was just a way of coping. See, the sad thing is, and I can see from the outside and looking back, I can see how many of these beautiful, wonderful women who were in the BDSM scene and all that, who were interested in me, but I was in a relationship. And the funny thing about it all is, you'd probably think, but you're autistic, you have problem talking to strangers, isn't it? When I was doing shibari, I wasn't focused on anything but the actual rope work. My ego wasn't involved. My libido wasn't involved. When I was using a whip in a very special way and doing it really well and able to cause the kind of really nice heat and pain that certain people enjoy, I wasn't focused on. It wasn't a sexual thing. It wasn't a. It was just a interesting problem to solve, a mechanic, a methodology, if I move this whip in this certain way, if I do this with it, if I found out that special oils that you could put on the whips to make them work better. I practiced fucking day and night with those whips to create the situation. I got to the point where I could line up little nodding thingies on top of a shelf, and I could hit and move one at a time, and I could do that. To me, it was a completely autistic, pure thing. It wasn't in any way part of a kink or fetish. So this is the thing. I don't. People sometimes judge me, but my brain's different. It's like when I use the Chinese balls and do the meditation and exercises, and how easy I found it because it was a interesting mechanic, and it helped to make, when meditating with me, it was a special kind of autistic stimming. And when my two friends were here at my house, and I made it look so easy when I was doing all this with them and that, and they took them from me, and they couldn't do anything with them at all. It was like, how are you doing this? How can you do that? So just do it. It's just part of what I've learned. I'm fucked up in so many ways. I have so much baggage. I've lost so many friends. The friends I have are amazing, and they accept me for who I am, and I sometimes wonder why they keep me around, because I feel like I'm a burden to everybody. I feel like I'm not worth it to anybody, because I can't keep it all in. This video is a fucking good example to that. I don't keep anything secret or hidden about who I am. And most people who you meet love the idea of having someone in their life that will not lie to them, that will tell them the truth. Until that moment where you say something they don't like. That's the part that sucks. Because I can't change myself. I can't stop just because you feel uncomfortable. It's why I have in my bio and stuff, dating this person or getting involved with this person is a warranty voiding event. I'm not joking. It takes a very special kind of person to be close to me and to handle that. Which is why I am so fucking loyal to my friends that have stuck around, because they're the only people I've ever known that can handle. It helps that most of them are autistic as well. So, if you have a problem with one of my videos, if I say something you don't agree with, then please point it out to me. Point out what I said that was wrong, and provide factual backup for thingy. Because if you do, then I will do another video and explore that. I will do a deep dive on whatever you told me and find out for myself. It's just, I don't get insulted by people having different opinion, but I do like people, if they've got a different opinion, to back it up with actual factual knowledge. And if you come at me with that, I am more likely to go, ooh, I better relook at some of the stuff that I've looked into. For example, my later videos on Gaza and Israel. Once I explored certain things and found that, yes, there are some shitty things going on, as well as it being, a lot of it being to do with defence, but it's gone beyond that. And that's the danger. It isn't that I change my opinion based on social commentary or someone coming up with something. No. It's like my views on Charlie Kirk. It's not based on, oh, he was a racist, oh, he's a Nazi, and all this bullshit. I actually looked in, I watched some of his wonderful challenges and discussions with people, and I found that he did something that a lot of people didn't like, and that is whenever someone came out with him with a bit of an idea or something, like for example, someone was and he was doing a discussion with a professor. There was a professor and the whole people he would discuss stuff with anyone. He would challenge any kind of thingy, and this professor was saying, "Oh, all of white people and that were part of slavery and all these things," and he pointed out, and instead of just going off on his own message, he took that message apart. Each part, he brought in facts of how many parts of the country were not supporting slavery, didn't agree with it, and fought against it. He provided facts and dates that you can't blame an entire group of people, and say that they are all guilty of slavery and that, when if you look at the facts, it does not actually pan out. And that's why a lot of people didn't like Charlie Kirk, because instead of just it being in his own echo chamber, when you came to him with something about trans, with something about slavery or white privilege or anything like that, he would come back with facts, bullet points, actual hard thingy that didn't care about your feelings, didn't care about your outrage, but the facts. And that is why I think that losing him was a loss. I don't have to agree with all the things that he said in that, but I would have loved to have the chance to fight for his right to say those things. Anyway, I'm going to know. Wow, I must have had a lot in my head this morning to get out. Almost a 40-minute freaking video. Wow, I doubt anybody's going to watch this one. Bye bye.